Welcome back to Weather Oki and welcome to your January 23rd weather outlook. Just starting off today, we do have quite the system already starting off. Just kicking off today with a bit of the cloudy conditions over where it was snowed on in the past few days. And really besides that, the only other interesting part is just the much of the precipitation inside the northeast. And really besides that, we can see that there is a little bit of cloud coverage coming up inside the north west, and as we continue on, we will see how this storm is actually about to ramp up significantly over the next few days into the next week and into February. Just starting off, we can see that most of the United States is actually covered in the colder air instead of the warm ones. We're basically below average in everywhere inside the United States as of right now, and that is going to stick around for a little bit until about the 24th. We do see a little bit of that warm air going into the Central Plains on the 25th. And then all of a sudden, that will transform into quite the bit of a warm up, which we can see in the northeast. This big flow of air moving through the United States, but it really comes into effect when we move forward into parts of late January, the 28th, already taking over the Central Plains, getting pretty warm. And then the big flow moving through parts of Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Arkansas, and even parts of Missouri. And continuing on, we do see that right after that, into the 30th, we get our major cool down. It's going to stick around until about the 1st of February. And then in February, we can see quite the warm up everywhere inside the United States. Some parts getting way above 15 degrees, 17 degrees above. And then this is where it gets interesting. Our big storm, number 2, can form off this major cold fronted ridge, making a huge curve in the jet stream that could cause problems as we move forward. Now, for the cold temperature side, we can see that most of the south is still stuck inside the 20s and 16s. We do get a bit of a heat up before finally going back at night. But as we continue on, we can see that a little bit of that hot air is moving forward a little bit stronger over these days. Just continuing on over and over, hitting those high temperatures or finally losing it around the 1st. And then on the 6th, where about that storm comes in, you can see quite the front moving forward, dropping those temperatures significantly as we move forward. So the jet stream right now is looking like it is pushing that Arctic air still through the United States quite swiftly and smoothly, as it has been for the past few days and weeks. Now, just because the flow is a little bit more interesting doesn't mean that it is broken enough to take away that cold, but it is enough to give some relief for a time. And this is where a low pressure system does develop inside of California, bring in some crazy winds to California once again, causing more wildfires as we could see. And just continuing on with that, it's just quite the crazy flow. A major dip in the jet stream here, a major low pressure system moving through. And just with that, that's what's going to cause enough heating into our day to cause this ridge in the Southern Plains moving forward into the 29th now, before finally that ridge does end up flowing out into the major storm system that we have seen before another ridge does form in the United States. We have this crazy breeze moving through the United States as we move forward into February 7th into 8th. So as for those storms, let's check out how this rain will affect it. Starting off with the 23rd today, we can see that there isn't much activity going on, a little bit of a warm front inside the Central Plains, and then more of that good snow inside the northeast, getting that lake effect snow once again, before finally we have our high pressure system developing inside the southern parts of Texas and Louisiana on the 26th, causing our first storm system to develop, going through parts of Alabama, Georgia. And then right when we think it's over, that low pressure system does develop another storm moving through the same parts once again, causing more problems And then the second type of snowfall starts inside the parts of Texas. This is the next part of snow that we are going to get going up into the parts of Oklahoma, going through parts of Oklahoma and up into Kansas before finally developing into its own type of storm. And this could bring some severe weather in the south as we get the winter remix inside the north. And just moving forward with that, we can see that it does become more of a snowstorm as we continue on before ultimately just going out into the ocean as a low pressure system. And that is going to be about the end before we do get our last little prefrontal storm that we were expecting to develop. How it does just soon leave, and before we do get quite the bit of snow inside the north and another low pressure system. And if you do want to keep updates with us, just make sure that you hit the likes button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure that you get put on post notifications so that you know exactly when we get these updates out. And don't forget to put a comment down below and check out the Facebook since we got that to also get your notifications when another post is put out. So I'll see y'all next time. Okay, good enough, I guess.